everything's being videoed what they're doing, so they're being watched also from within as well. So it's like a tightrope. They're walking this narrow bridge the whole time. I just saw like an Instagram video today. I don't know, just it caught my mind, and it was all these guys riding on narrower and narrower, like on bikes, narrow and narrow places, like on the edge of waterfalls and dams and buildings, and it gets narrower and narrower. So I wrote underneath, the world's a very narrow bridge. The most important thing is not to be afraid. Who knows where that's from? Anyone knows? Rabbi Nachman, yeah. The world's a very narrow bridge, and this guy Instagram's inspired me that concept. They're getting more and more narrow, and yet they're still going forward, still going ahead, still balancing, not falling either side, jumping even from place to place on the bikes. I don't know how they do it, but these guys are amazing. But the point is, the key is that they're not afraid. Yeah, we should maybe sing that at some point, maybe. I don't know, sing it now. Let's sing. It's not the time for family, but anyway. I'm not such a guy to sing that song. I don't know. You want to sing it? Anyone want to sing it? No, I don't feel it.
You call it.
I'll sing something else. We're going to sing this family song in a minute. But anyway, I want to just before I do, I just want to ask James to say something a little bit. He's been through a lot with me personally. He knows my flow, and he's also got his beautiful flow. His amazing journey from graffitiing in my room in Edgware to like having this creative empire that's inspiring so many other young professionals to use their creative talents. For me, it's one of the most inspiring journeys I've seen by anyone in business, because not everyone gets to do what they're passionate about, and he really is. So, he gets to talk about it publicly. I've seen it, heard it. So I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, am I? No.
You are, but I'll take it.
Okay. Come sit next to me, so the good old life. You mind?
No, not on.
No, okay. We'll just hear his voice. Okay, go on in.
What can I say? I think it's really important to find what's inside, which makes you feel alive, kind of like what you're saying, and trust that instinct and intuition. And yeah, I was definitely someone who didn't know what they wanted to do, but knew I always had creativity in some way, shape or form. I learned to play the drums, and I got really interested in graffiti and music and bands, and just kind of went to university to study music and art, and started a project which I did as my final degree show. It's about connecting people to art, but making it more accessible to people, thinking about it from being an artist, but also being someone in the world who finds it like quite alienating walking into an art gallery or feeling quite intimidated by that whole thing. And yeah, that project I've continued to do for the last 20 years, and like I've done a recent project around here at Wembley Stadium when they were building the new stadium. They needed art on the walls, and through a serendipitous sequence of events, I had a picture of one of my pieces was on my mum's wall, and I think it was her cousin came over and saw this piece on the wall, and he was in business with an ex-England footballer, and he knew the then CEO of Wembley Stadium, and he saw the picture on the wall. He's like, they're going to need stuff in the stadium. Do you want to get involved? Do you want to like have the opportunity to meet this guy and tell them about what you do? So I was like, yeah, 100%. That's an opportunity I can't turn down. And for everything I had, I do this with a friend of mine, very close friend of mine. As soon as I graduated, I was like, you need to come with me on this journey. I've got an idea. I think it's going to be something interesting. And he like makes up all the things that I'm really bad at. He's really good at. We're two completely opposite people.
Best partnership.
Yeah. And I wanted to go on the journey with someone else as well. Just thought it would be more fun, and I could get more done. I didn't think I had it in me to do it all on my own. Anyway, so we pitched for Wembley Stadium, and we put everything we had into this presentation and this proposal, and at the time we thought it was the best thing ever. But it was, I mean, if you look back at it now, it's total amateur hour. And it was like we bound it, we printed it, we thought it was really good. And then they called us back in for a meeting, and it's actually something we celebrated our 20th year.
Wow, congrats!
This year, and
amazing.
And someone asked me, we had a party. Someone asked me what the best moment of the last 20 years was, and I was saying we got called back into Wembley, and we didn't know we won the project at this stage, and they sat us down and they started rolling out these huge plans of Wembley Stadium, and we could see Acrylicise, that's the name of my business, like on all the plans, and you're going to be doing this area and this area and this area. And I was sitting with my business partner and was just like, shit. So I was like, I just need to go to the toilet. And I like went out, and then he came out 2 seconds later. We literally like high-fived in the corridor, like went mad for like 5 seconds, and like put ourselves back together, walked back into the room and carried on the meeting as if nothing had happened. We had to have that moment.
But you're still having it till now. That's the most amazing thing.
Yeah,
20 years later.
Yeah, and the only thing that I know, because I really genuinely know nothing about business, really know nothing about anything other than to be present. I think the entire journey has been about being in the moment and figuring it out in that moment and taking a step, and then that step leads you to the next moment, and
Amazing.
you know, using what you've learned from your experience, you kind of just make a play, whichever play feels right, trusting your instinct and intuition, and you will either learn something from that or it will take you to the next stage. And I've continued to do that for the past 20 years and continue to live my life like that, and it's helped me in good stead, because I think there's a lot of talk about listen to everything on the outside, but I think it all comes from listening to
internal.
the inside. Yeah. We have everything we need.
By the way, his top is one of his like fun brands, like side thing, no?
Yeah, I have a clothing brand, Shesh, actually.
Shesh.
Yeah.
That was, you used to do that graffiti like back in the day.
So just expression, truth, expression, connection, love. That's the circle. And yeah, from jamming for years and going on mad adventures, and like it's a fun journey. Yeah.
We're here for the ride together, guys. It's not like a lone journey. That's a very important thing, to know you're not alone. You've got your brothers, you've got people who care about you, you've got the Clubhouse. They really care about you guys, like sincerely. I know that for sure. Like I've seen Ari and Lolu, and I don't know where Nookie is. Last time I called him a werewolf. He's coming. Yeah, so Nookie's on the way. I've seen these guys like all night, all day, going out from, I don't know, since when? Beginning of 2000. Yeah, could be that long. I mean, it's over 20-something years also, no?
Yeah, 2001.
2001, yeah, hear that. More than 23 years, that's amazing. So, here he is. We're just speaking about Nookie.
Midnight Rabbi, it's not midnight yet.
I know. Came early.
Midnight Rabbi. Guys, you know what it is? Midnight Rabbi.
You remember him back in the day?
Yeah, perfect. We left this chair for you. We're going to jam a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not really jamming so much these days. My business is more booking others to jam. I have a Unity Bookings, I have Unity Marketing. It's all about helping others shine, promoting other people's music, talent, speaking. But nevertheless, I still think I remember the word somewhat. So this is a song that was originally Emily from Prince William's birthday party in the 90s to family in the 2000s. We need it more than ever to be with family. I just actually had all my music deleted. There was a whole story that the guy who paid for the distribution, the card got reported, whatever. So it was a whole story. My music came down, and I decided I've got to re-release this. So I'm slowly re-releasing all my tracks one by one. And this week I released a week before I came here, Family, this song. So it's back up on Spotify, thank God, and YouTube, or Apple Music, whatever you use. Family, Eli Goldsmith, that's the name of it, if you want to find it. We've been considering all of us without the essence of simple trust. All the hassles we won't see, sharing, laughing eternally. Relationships and sensual thoughts that have been forgiven. Now my flooding mind, casual decision. This body language is where our heart lays. You never see us now, family. You never see us down. down, family. You'll always be around, family. Never see us down, always be around, family. Speed up a little bit. On the next part. Everyone sing along, let's just jam. Just make some noises, man. Family. You're there in our bridge, you'll never see us now. Family, eternally, Clubhouse boys, let's rock and roll. Clubhouse boys, let's get some soul. Clubhouse boys, we've gotta go. Look around quick and see what life from all of that. Relationships, essential thoughts that have been forgiven. The pathetic mind of casual decision. His body language is where our heart is elevated to a special place. Oh yeah, you'll never see us down, family. We'll always be around. You'll always see us round, family. Eternally. Oh, family. Always be around, family. Open your hearts to see the place and this truth explore. Open your heart to know the way. Eternity explore. Open yourself to see the place, to hear the day, to know the way of eternity with family. Family. Clubhouse boys will go. You will go beyond the hurt and pain. Thank you so much. Let's keep singing along. Yeah. Woo! So that was fun. Having James here took it to a different level. I really felt that. So, and you guys, you're contributing just by being part of this. So I really appreciate it, listening and sharing. And I'm going to ask you now if anyone has any questions. That's I hope James doesn't mind putting one on the spot again. But if anyone wants to ask anything, it's so important that we hear what you're feeling. You've also got your message. I can learn from you guys more maybe than you can learn from me. So if anyone wants to ask anything or say anything, please. Anybody? Whatever you're feeling. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. It could be like we've got a guy's really achieved in creative space and business. You've got a guy who's living in Israel and really trying to bring a lot of light as much as I can to.
How did you become successful?
Me personally,
James, question for James.
James, he's the success story. I'm more like the.
Well,
You get there.
well, it depends what success means, really, doesn't it?
That's true. Good answer.
How are we defining
Well,
success?
what was your inspiration to get you to where you are? I know you talked about a bit about painting and Wembley.
Yeah,
And
my inspiration.
Side, but
So when I mentioned playing the drums, right? So I play drums. So
Thank you for the words.
when I was 6 years old, my parents bought me a drum kit. It was like a cheap Toys R Us toy drum kit. And I remember took me ages to learn to play. My dad taught me. First beat was Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. Simple 4/4 beat. Just learning to coordinate left hand, right hand, left foot, right foot. And then I finally got it after practicing for ages. And then that feeling that I got was like the most intoxicating feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I think that I've been chasing that feeling ever since. Everything that I've been doing, it's all about that. And that feeling was creative expression, flow. It was almost like I was just a vessel that was coming through me and I wasn't even doing it. And like that tapped me into something which I didn't really understand. But I think where all our creativity comes from is like sort of beyond, and we're vessels for it. And so the thing that inspires me, or the thing that drives me to do all these things, is to feel that feeling. And it's like when you're in that space, and everybody will appreciate and understand that feeling because we've all had it before, like you're not trying, it's effortless, time is like non-existent, you almost like transcend the everyday, and you go somewhere where it's just so pure and so real. And like if we can all get to that place, that's a beautiful place to be. And I think we're all the highest expressions of ourselves.
That's where real peace is. Imagine if then no one would become a terrorist if they're experiencing that kind of. There's no terror, there's no war. It's just about connection and flow, creative energy, and that's why it's so important to help build more creative expressions and outlets. Like what the Boys Clubhouse give you a beautiful studio. I remember in when I worked for all the yeshivas in America, in Eretz Israel, and one of the first things I made sure there was a music studio. We raised money, we got a studio and the drum kit and the music equipment, and it's so important for the guys to have that outlet, to have those creative outlets. I mean, some of the guys told me that just rocking it out on the drums for like an hour or two saved them from doing some crazy stuff. Yeah. They just get all that emotions and that pent up feelings into the drumming, into the rhythm, into the motion and the schwitz. They just, it's great for the body, great for the soul, and they're just schwitzing on the drums. It's, whatever it is that does it for you. Do it in sport, do it. You have to be creative in how you're doing business, creative how you even present things, that's one of my things. And right now we're going to be faced with a new challenge, or artificial intelligence. For example, for my marketing company, I've got like some really good feedback about my posts recently. And I said to them, I just want to be straight. It was from AI, yeah? I just went to ChatGPT or whatever, Plus or 4, whatever one it was, and I said, give me this and this and that. It gave the right prompts. I got an amazing post. They said, you write so well. I said, I don't actually write well at all. I said, the post came out like professional, crisp. So what's the answer when you're going to have all this stuff done for you? Like same with even image generators now, music generated. It's going to, it's going to go into the art space as well. And one of the things we've got to figure out is how to bring it back to being not artificial intelligence, but authentic intelligence. Take the same initials, AI, and bring it into authentic intelligence, where it comes, as we were saying already, the internal flow. That's going to be the solution to the whole technological revolution that's going on, that it shouldn't get out of control. They always talk about on all these things, government regulations, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's great, but really the real solution is internal people that are more soul and connected into the flow. Then the technology will have to be respectful to that truth. No problem, man. You're not going to get it from outside. You're not going to get it AI is never going to be able to come up with that kind of authentic intelligence, that real flow that we're talking about right now, and that kind of feeling, that experience of soul. It's not going to come from there. So that's always going to be the difference. And
It can certainly, in time, learn exactly what the people are looking for.
it can imitate it, but will never be the real thing. Will never be the real authentic flow.
For those that are listening, 95% of the people in population wouldn't know the difference.
Deep down, they'll know. That's what I believe, that people have self-knowledge, and people, when things get so crazy and artificial and fake, then they're even hungrier for the real thing. They become really thirsty. Like, I've seen it in the Jewish world, Torah world. I'll be honest, that we know this, Ari. Like, he's in the educational space, and you see more than that, more than the educational space, because it's a whole, you know, what the Boys House Clubhouse is like a whole nother thing. But in terms of the space of having to deal with that space, one of the beautiful things that Rabbi Y. Jacobson says, that our generation are souls of truth. We're not going to accept the old system that was. We're not going to stand for BS. Excuse my language. We only want BSD. We want the real thing. Yeah, we're not going to stand for people who claim they're religious leaders. You mentioned this word, the guy just went out, all this religious stuff, and they're not really sincere. They're not really caring about soul and people around them, and they're not really compassionate. They're not really living the Torah, the soul of the Torah. You know, YY the other day was crying on a podcast about some of the questions that people are asking in the Jewish world. It shows such a lack of compassion and soul, like basic menschkeit, Jewish ways of being. It's like, what is going on with these people? Another rabbi, Rabbi Asher Weiss, he said they shouldn't even be leaders, some of these people. He said they should quit being leaders. I've got it. It's a famous recording gone around. What kind of questions came up? So the questions that came up on those spaces were, I don't really like repeating it, but without getting too into it, the main point was that some of the religious elements, the so-called religious, they are claiming that this whole army-like situation is creating a weakness in the respect towards the Torah world, and it's going to take away their students from respecting Torah to becoming more supporters of the army. Yeah. Which Rav is like crying at that, such a mindset. How can you think that way? These people are saving your lives. It's not even like a thought. And you're so insecure. He said they're so insecure that if you're really secure about your journey and your spirituality, you will never be threatened if a different path is getting more recognition right now. You'd be like, respect for them, because everything I'm doing is about strengthening those people also. Like, I'm not insecure. What are you talking about? So he was very strong on that point, and
I think they felt insecure when reformers kicking in and
no, I don't. I mean, the Chossam Sofer, for example, who was the strongest against reform, who was so strong, his approach, I don't think it came from insecurity at all. It came from such clarity. So that if it's coming from clarity, then it's a different thing. But for example, the idea of having confidence. Once again, it's an internal thing. You're not going to get the reassurance from outside. Like even like now, like Baruch Hashem Ari's just been like got to this MBE. It's a big thing, and it's a big up to Ari. Yeah, good MBE, deserves it 100%. Everyone should applaud. At the same time, I really don't feel like even if it's going to be on his email signature for the next 10 years until he gets his CBE or the next one up, or Sir Ari, yeah, we'll see it, yeah. But that's only in order to help everyone respect the clubhouse that a little bit more. Not that he needs it, but just that little bit more. And that little bit more make a little bit of difference in this world. You have to be real, yeah. The letters help a little bit, yeah. That's one of my issues. I'm not so good at that. The whole presentation system thing. You have to play the game a little bit. But at the same time, it's not what's going on here. That's not what it's about. I never felt that. And it was like, when I heard about it, I was like, it's like a side thing. It's not like the clubhouse is about Ari, becoming this hero. It's about you guys all becoming heroes. And Ari's helping that happen. And, it's amazing. The realness of it, we know what it's really about. And because we're here firsthand, so we see the realness behind it. My uncle, he got awarded, I think, got a CBE, and it was a big deal, you know, in the family, and my grandma was so proud, and she got to come to the ceremony, and you know, it was a big moment for our family. And there's a picture recently of my father standing in Camden, and this is big respect to my father. Like, his brother's got a lot of public acknowledgement for everything he's done, and my father standing there looking like getting nachas, like not jealousy, nothing, just nachas, pure nachas. That his brother's getting awarded with the Walk of Fame on Camden. I think they have all these like different rock and roll tributes on the street there, and so one of his mates wrote, funnily enough, like, no, it was actually one of the famous musicians there. I don't remember which one it was. One of the famous guys, like, what's such a big deal? It just means he's now got his name on the floor where a bunch of people are going to walk and piss and all this stuff. They're making fun of it, the musicians. Anyway, it's just a bit of banter amongst friends. But the point is that we have to realize that what made my uncle, for example, successful as well, if I want to quote him, is he had two principles that he's told me as well. And I was arguing, I sent him a message today. I said, in my opinion, the time is now. But I want to like get active in certain things, with try to get him moving in the space that, you know, I feel like Jewish people need as much like support as ever right now, like more than ever. So I said to him two things. He needs to be, he said, excuse me, and I said back to him, now's the timing. Honesty and timing. Honesty, you have to be honest with your people, and timing. That was his two principles that led him to so much success in that business, because you're dealing with people that a lot of management or promotion people are not going to be honest, because you don't want to, you know, upset the star. You know, it's hard. You get a lot of yes people around you, a lot of, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Like, everyone's complimenting them and saying how great they are. But comes Harvey, and he even had a show about it. Did you ever see that on TV? He used to go, how did he help musicians? He just used to rip it out, like Gordon Ramsay style, you know, when he goes to the kitchens.
But aren't they doing a stage show of Live Aid?
When?
I think
No?
in the West End, and
someone
is playing your uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the kind of stuff you're going to see in that stage show. He'll give it to Bob or whoever. He's not going to like be, you know, honeycombing and sweetening everything. He's going to say it how it is. And in that business, you have to be a little bit more to the truth to get the message over to these guys, and they need to get their act together, because they're bumming around being where the art level, the creative space has gone too far, but they're no longer balanced and focused on what they need to do for that night, for that show, for that event, for that album, whatever it is, for that tour. And I know firsthand a little bit of management I did. It's hard space to constantly be on this guy's case, who's a celeb, and you have to keep pushing him to get up in the morning and, you know, turn up for this and turn up for that. It's a lot of responsibility. So anyway, why I'm saying this all is just, you've got to figure out what it is your internal principles are to guide you for that next stage. And I think that's what James did a good job. I think that's what the Clubhouse is all about, helping you guys get there. And having that support is so important. And the best part is, when you get to a certain place, now you can give it back. You can help the Clubhouse with their journey, continue doing this, and you yourself can be role models in that, in your space. So we'll just say one quick blessing to everyone, and to James and to everyone who came today. Everyone should be blessed. We hear only good news about my son, about all the soldiers. We hear only good news about all of our journey. The Clubhouse should keep growing and growing, and should just keep providing these amazing opportunities. And we know from this week's parsha, you know, there's miracles going on in Egypt, and everything that happened to the Mitzrayim that was smashing them to pieces was healing the Jewish people more and more. So realize sometimes the darkness that's going on out in the world is about bringing out a deeper light of healing. And even though it's hard to watch the pain outside, you know, my parents took me to a film. I don't usually go to movies, like, I'll be honest. I went to see Oppenheimer. I don't know why, but that was just not normal. But I went with my parents.
Not normal good.
They took me to this movie tonight. What's Anthony Hopkins? Yeah, was the main actor. It's called One Life, I think. One Life, yeah, One Life. That's the whole concept of the film, because every life, it's a quote from the Torah, basically. You save a life, you save the world. Yeah. So that was one of the main lines in the film. One life. It's called One Life. Save one life, you save the whole world. So he saved this guy. He was a Jew, but he was like not so Jewish, but he still, nevertheless, was a very special person. And he saved 693 children or something from Czechoslovakia. And it just came out now, and I was crying, honestly, the whole way through, because I felt like what's going on here, and like when I think of, say, Daniel, you know, our good friend Daniel, unfortunately Oliver Sholem, you know, I don't know if any of you guys knew Daniel. You knew Daniel Burrell. So Oliver Sholem, like he's one of the guys who was in here, and we were in yeshiva together in Israel, and you know, from back in the day, and it's very like overwhelming to think about his journey and all the other boys that I remember when I worked for Neve Sion, going a few times to Beit Shemesh to watch these guys get buried at such a young age. And you save one life, you save a whole world. And this guy now, by saving those 600 people, he's got thousands and thousands of people alive because of him. Thousands. Because it grows, you know, they have children and they grow, and like we have to understand, and not just that, one of the things that hit me so powerfully in this movie, and it's so amazingly acted, is how each person is their own world, literally, and that was the whole painful point. He couldn't get over that he wasn't able to do more, and that's really the kind of feeling we need to have. I always had that image of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, or like Moshe Rabbeinu in Egypt. He was fighting with Hashem, like, I want to get these people out, save the Jewish people. He only managed to save 1/5. 4/5 were stuck there. Yeah. So I said to Rav Orish, I'm going to end off with this question, a question I had to Rav Orish. This is my last point. Yeah, I traveled for many years with Rav Orish to America, holy rabbi in Israel. I worked for him for about 5 years. And I asked him on this plane ride to Miami, I sat next to him, and I said to him, what's going to be with the 4/5 in our generation? Because they say whatever happened in Egypt when the redemption then, it's going to be the same now. So 4/5, I'm the 1/5 from my family. I don't want any of them stuck in this crazy world, like in the dark aspect of it. I want all of us to get into a good place, like the way James was describing, that when you're in that flow and that positive space, like, you know, unfortunately, when you're not tuned into that, you can get caught up with all kinds of craziness. I want all the people to get out of this darkness that's going on, where people are in pain and, you know, suicidal, and all this dark stuff that's going down, the drug addictions, the internet addiction, and all this distraction and pain. So I want all of our people to be able to escape that restrictive. That's really what Egypt was about. It was this place of restriction and pain, and we have to be able to overcome that through tuning into the soul level. That's the answer. And these 7 habits, these 7 commandments, these 7 ways of values, ways of being that happen in this week's parsha, 7 plagues, and the next week the other 3, and the full 10, this idea of binary, 1 and 0, 10, these ways of tuning into the true blueprint of what a soul's about and what's going to give salvation. That kind of energy that's going on, I want everyone to tune in. So I said to Rav Orish, what's going to be like? So he said to me, don't worry, everyone's going out this time. It's not true. Why? I said, but it's, you know, they don't seem so interested. You know, they're more interested in their holiday to Spain or whatever. So he said to me, no, that everyone's going out, because everyone's nowadays involved some way or another. Everyone cares. You see now with this war, everyone's caring about the situation. Everyone's waking up, and not just the Jews. The whole world's waking up. You know how many non-Jewish people we had come to Israel? Like cowboys came from where was it?
Iowa.
And there was a few other places they came from, and then we have Druzim who are very close, and you know, there's so many types of people waking up to the situation where they really feel this need to like help support the message of soul and not this message of terror. And this is like what we need to tune into, and this is available more than ever now, this clarity. And we have it within. It's happening. This revolution's happening. This soul revolution's happening. As much as the world seems to get less soulful, the more soulful we're becoming. The fact that the teenage culture now won't accept, you know, they're not going to, even my own son, he's not going to talk to me like I talk to my father. If I spoke the way he spoke to me, my father would have given me but it's because he's such a truthful person. So he won't stand up for my BS. So it makes me a better person by having a son like that. The souls of the generation just getting more and more pure, more and more refined, more true, more real. And that's going to help us become more real as parents and tune into their light. They have I just gave a whole session last night about all the things I'm learning from my kids. I spoke to this like breast of crew in Edgeway, you saw the thing. I just spoke about all the stuff I'm learning from my son in the army, my son in yeshiva, my son in Beit Sefer, my son who just flew to Uman with his own money that he worked so hard for, to the Ukraine and this place and that place. I spoke about my kids because they've become like my own teachers, you know. So look at your people around you as guides and lights, and all the things they're teaching us so much. You know, I have a friend like James. He teaches. I just get so much inspiration. So it's just amazing. And you have people like that in your life. Surround yourself with people that inspire you, that add to your own creative flow. And if we're all doing that, it's going to be happy days coming up. Happy days. Amen.
Amen.
That's it. Okay, good times.